I've had the Oris Big Crown pointed date in bronze for about 2 months now. So I thought I'd talk to you about how I've got on with it and show you how it's patinaed. Welcome back to Buck and Jack. I'm Adrian and it is windy as hell and cold. Things are about to fall off, literally about to fall off. But this place is just incredible. I was lent this Big Crown pointed date from Oris back in early December. I was invited out to Switzerland to see the launch of this watch. And no, this video isn't sponsored by Oris, and no, I am under no obligation to say anything positive about the watch. I'm actually going to do a video around what it's like interacting with brands in that sense and going to press events and things like that, and what the relationship is actually like, because there's a lot of misconceptions going around. But anyway, I went out to Switzerland to see the launch of this watch, and I've done an introduction video. Because it's a bronze case, I thought it'd be interesting to do a follow-up video to see how it's patinaed, and also because I was able to hold on to the watch for a couple of months, talk to you about how I've got on with it, because it's hard to do a review of a watch or really share your opinions on a watch when you've only seen it for a little bit of time. And I know a lot of my videos are like that, but that's just how it is. And until I'm rich enough to buy lots and lots of watches, that's just how it's going to be. It's a benefit to be able to spend this much time with a watch, because it means that I can actually kind of delve in deeper into what it's like. And so when I first sort of watched, the bronze case was really very, very shiny. It wasn't highly polished. It wasn't polished to the point of it being shiny. Bronze is just a shiny metal, and it came across similar to gold. It had that gleam of gold to it. And I've got to be honest, I'm not a flashy guy, but I actually quite liked that. Now it's patinaed quite heavily. The case is really quite dull now. This is the first bronze case that I've had time with and has patinaed in my presence. And I'm not a big fan of bronze cases anymore, I've got to be honest. There's something about this watch which just doesn't work for me anymore. I think originally it worked with the very shiny sapphire crystal. Obviously with the case, I felt like that all mashed together quite nicely. The case back worked better with the shinier case because it's high polished steel. So you've got the shiny steel along with the shiny bronze. You've got the shiny sapphire along with the shiny bronze. You've then got a very clean dial along with the very shiny hands. All of that worked very well with the shiny case. Now it just looks a bit dirty. It has a nicer vintage air to it, but the case seems to have patinaed differently from the bezel. The bezel seems to be holding itself a bit more. The colour and the bezel and the crown are both holding their shine a lot more than the case. So I don't know whether the bronze that they've used for both the crown and the bezel are different from the case, but they look remarkably different, that's for sure. It could be, it's like when people grow beards, they kind of go through this stage of, are you homeless or are you growing a beard? It's kind of like what my wife says about me. It looks a bit weird. And maybe that's what this is in. It's a 2-month-old case. It was brand new when I got it, and so it was super shiny, and now it's gone to this patinaed state. There are still areas of it which are quite shiny, and that looks, it really stands out now compared to the quite dull patinaed area. Maybe in 6 months' time when the whole case is patinaed, maybe that's when it all starts to come together. I don't know. But at the moment, there seems to be a bit of we're in a funny stage with the case. Something just doesn't sit quite right with how the case is going. You might notice that the strap is different. I've put it on a black strap. I'm really not a fan of the strap that it came on. It's it further made the watch look too shabby for me, and it just didn't work. On a black strap, on any strap actually, of course this is a Buck and Jack strap, it'd be silly for me to put it on anything else. You can get this strap from buckandjack.shop. On any leather strap, I think it would work. Some people passed a comment on the case back and said that the case back just didn't work with the watch because it's a very shiny case back, very modern looking case back on the rest of the watch, which has a very vintage vibe to it. Also you have a red rotor in the back, which again has a sporty modern vibe to it, which is different from the rest of the watch, which is very vintage. I understand that, I agree with it. I don't know what else they could have done. You can't have a bronze case back because it would make your wrist go a bit greeny. Maybe they could have put a brushed or satin finish on the case back. Maybe that would dull it down a bit and give it, make it fit more in with the rest of the watch. With regards to the movement and the red rotor, red's part of the branding, so you kind of have to allow that. It is only a Solita movement, but actually I think it's quite a good looking movement. It's not fancy in any way. We're not talking Patek fancy, but it's it's a clean looking movement. Some of the wheels could have been polished a bit more, but we're talking about a lower tier watch here, so it's we can't ask for everything. Interestingly, might not be interesting at all. This is a watch that my wife likes. Out of all the watches that I've been lent and that I've shown her, this is the only watch that she likes, and it's all because of the vintage style of it. Someone asked in this week's Q&A if I thought Oris were putting out too many limited edition watches. And the guys on Who Dinky spoke about this on a podcast a while ago, about the whole limited edition kind of trend that's been going on for a while. And they say it's down to the fact that people just aren't buying watches. And so watch companies have to put out limited edition watches to then tap into the market of watch collectors who have the spare money to keep buying up these watches. If Oris or Omega stopped doing limited edition watches and they just had a Speedmaster or they just had a Diver 65 and that was the only offering they had, then they wouldn't sell any watches and the companies would quite likely go bust. Because the industry is struggling as a whole, these guys need to be churning out these limited edition watches to keep the money coming in. But I think, yes, as a whole, there are too many limited edition watches being peddled around, but not just by Oris, by everyone. And I think the whole limited edition thing is a bit tiring because it kind of dilutes itself. But then again, we need these companies to stay around. We can't have it all. We can't not buy watches but then complain when everyone's churning out limited edition watches. It's one of those things. To wrap up my thoughts on this thing, the Big Crown pointed date is still a really nice range. I really like the range of watches, but this wouldn't be the one that I'd choose. Still, the one that I like the most is the one that I reviewed previously, which is the steel case with the blue-grey dial. That thing looks absolutely brilliant. With regards to the bronze case, this is, I got to be honest, this has kind of put me off bronze cases. Or maybe this is just in that mid stage of cases, as mid stage of patinization, as I said before. I kind of feel a bit funny about that. Now that I've gone back and looked at the footage of the watch when it was new, I much prefer the case without the patina. Before I send this watch back to Oris, I'm going to have to research how to remove the patina, and I'll do a video on how well or badly that goes. Of course, if you guys have any tips on that, then do let me know. Guys, drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about the whole patinaing of the bronze case. Maybe you've got a bronze case and you've had it for a longer time, and you can say whether whether the whole patina looks a bit more uniform after a while. I think that's what needs to happen with this guy. Anyway guys, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button at the bottom there. If you like the style of this video, then hit the subscribe button down the bottom there and a little bell icon so you get notifications when I drop a new video. If you like your watch straps and want to support the channel, jump over to barkandjack.shop and check out our watch straps. We've got leather straps and NATO straps over there. And we've just had a new batch of leather straps drop. If you like watch photography, give me a follow on Instagram at barkandjack, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.